You know what your half is before the menus reach the table. Keisha is telling you about her sister's kitchen, the tiles that came in the wrong color twice, and you are nodding in the right places, and underneath the nodding, there is a small machine running the way it always runs. Her dish, 14. Yours, 11. Drinks, 4 each. Tax, tip. You have the number before she gets to the part about the grout. The booth by the window wobbles when either of you leans forward. It has wobbled for years. There is a strip of silver tape on the third booth back, holding a split in the red vinyl closed, and it has been there long enough that you have stopped seeing it. You order the second cheapest thing. You do not read the menu. You have not really read this menu in a long time. You know where the second cheapest thing lives, third from the bottom of the left column, and your eyes go to it the way a hand goes to a light switch in a dark room you grew up in. You always get that, Keisha says. I like it. That is true. It is also not the reason. Here's the thing nobody has ever said to you out loud. For 10 years, you have looked at the price before you looked at the thing. Every time. On every menu, in every shop, on every shelf, on every screen. Not as a decision, as a reflex. The way you blink. Keisha reaches for the check and splits it down the middle without looking at it, the way she has since the beginning, and you love her for it in a way you have never found the sentence for. The supermarket at 20 to 10 at night is a different building than it is at noon. The light is flat and slightly green, and it hums one note under everything. A trolley with a bad wheel has been abandoned at the end cap, and it drags itself half a turn to the left whenever the doors open. There is nobody in the aisle. There is almost never anybody in this aisle at this hour, which is part of why you come now. The good olive oil is on the second shelf. Dark glass, a paper label, a little heavier in the hand than the one you actually buy. $14. You have picked it up maybe 40 times. You turn it so the label faces you, and you do the thing you have done for 10 years without ever once catching yourself doing it. You look past the bottle at the small white tag on the shelf edge, and you feel the number land somewhere under your ribs. $18.40. That is what is in the account. Payday is Thursday. You put it back. You do not put it back sadly. That is the part that would be hard to explain to anyone. It is not a sad thing. It is a fast thing, an automatic thing, over before there is anything to feel about it, and you are already walking toward the pasta with the cheaper bottle in your hand. The space on the shelf stays where the bottle was for a second before the row settles. There was a kitchen table before this one. Yellow light, a bulb that took a second to reach full brightness. Your mother's reading glasses pushed up into her hair, where they lived, where they always lived, relocated but never removed. A spiral notebook with a bent cover. A shoebox of receipts, curling at one end the way receipts do. Donna could not look at them. That was the whole thing, though nobody in the house ever put it that way. She could earn the money, and she could spend the money, and she could not sit down and look at what the money had done. And so at some point, the shoebox came across the table to you, and you flattened each receipt with the side of your hand and wrote the numbers in a column, in handwriting that was still learning to be handwriting. "You're better at this than me," she said, and laughed, and the laugh had something underneath it. You were proud. That is the part that gets left out. Being the one who was trusted with the box was the first time anyone had needed you for something only you could do. And pride like that is a very good glue. And glue does not know the difference between holding something together and refusing to let it go. It became yours in the first place you paid for alone. One room, a kitchen you could touch both walls of, a window that faced a wall. The first rent you handed over that nobody helped with. You remember the specific relief of the door closing behind you and the specific weight of what the door closing meant. That was the year the counting stopped being a chore and started being a reflex. Nobody handed you the shoebox. You built it out of your own life without noticing, and it followed you out of that room and into the next one and the next one, and it is still here, 10 years later, running underneath a conversation about bathroom tiles. Keisha does not know. She has never asked what you have, not once, which is not the same as not caring, and you know the difference. Donna does not know. Donna asks other questions. The woman at the register does not know, and would not care, and is not thinking about you at all, and somehow that is not as comforting as it should be. You flatten a receipt on the kitchen counter with the side of your hand, and the kitchen is yours, and the counter is yours, and the receipt is yours, and the gesture is exactly the same gesture. There is a document you receive every 2 weeks that you have never read. You have read the top of it. Everyone reads the top of it. The top of it is the number you say out loud when somebody at a party asks what you do and then asks the other thing, the thing people ask sideways. The top number is the one that sounds like the answer. Tonight, at 11:20, for no reason you could defend, you open it and you go down. The lamp above the kitchen table has a pull chain, and it clicks when you pull it, and the sound is very loud in a flat at that hour. The mug beside your elbow has a chip on the handle, and the tea in it went cold about 40 minutes ago. Outside the window, somebody's security light keeps deciding there is a cat. Gross. Then a line. Then a column of things being taken, each one small, each one named in an abbreviation you have never once looked up. Tax. Then the other tax. Then the thing with the letters. Then the retirement line, the one you set up during onboarding. 4 minutes, a drop-down menu, a percentage you picked because it was the middle option. Then at the bottom, after all of it, $3,214. You read it twice. Then a third time, which is not about the number. The number at the top is the one you have been telling people. The number at the bottom is the one that has actually been yours. They have been living in the same document for 10 years, 3 inches apart, and you have been quoting the wrong one at dinner tables to people who were not asking carefully. Nothing dramatic happens. You do not cry. You do not decide anything. You pull an envelope out of the pile by the fruit bowl, a bank thing, unopened, the kind you keep meaning to shred, and you write 3,214 on the back of it in pen, because the number on the screen feels like it could leave, and the number on the envelope cannot. Then you sit there for a while with the pen still in your hand. The tea is properly cold now. The lamp clicks off. It is a Tuesday, and you have 12 minutes. The kettle has just gone off, and it is ticking as it cools, that small metal sound, and your phone is propped against it because you are not sitting down for this, because sitting down would make it a thing. 2 screens. On one of them, the account you have had since you were a teenager, the one with the branch you never go into, the one your first job paid into, and the rate it earns you, printed so small you have to turn the brightness up. 1/100%. On the other screen, a savings account at a bank with no branches at all. Just over 4%. You look at the 2 numbers next to each other, and you feel something you would not call anger exactly, because there is nobody to be angry at. You picked the first one when you were still at school, because it was across from the bus stop. The application takes 6 minutes. Name. The other name. The numbers you know by heart. There is no minimum, which you check twice, because you have spent 10 years assuming there is always a minimum, and that you are always under it. Then there is a box for what you want to call the account. You think about it longer than you thought about the rate. You do not name it anything hopeful. You do not name it anything that would make somebody ask. You type something so dull that if a person ever saw it on a screen over your shoulder, their eyes would slide straight off it. And that is the entire point. and you know exactly why you are doing it, and you do not say that part, even to yourself. $50. That is what you move. Your thumb sits on the confirm button for a second and a half. Then it is done, and a line of gray text appears underneath, and it says that because it is after 7 in the evening, the transfer will not begin processing until the next business day. So, nothing happens. You had braced for something, and there is nothing to brace against. The kettle ticks. Your phone is warm from your hand. You put it face down on the counter, and you pick up your bag, and you go to work. The money moves on Wednesday while you are doing something else, and you do not watch it. $50 a payday is not a story. It is a standing instruction that fires twice a month while you are asleep or in the shower or standing in a queue. And the thing about a standing instruction is that after a while, it stops being a decision you are making and starts being a fact about your life. By the third month, there is $640 in an account with a boring name. The cuff of the gray cardigan, the left one, the one you pull over your hand when you are cold or thinking, is starting to go at the edge. You notice it in the reflection of a train window, and you do not do anything about it. 50 becomes 110 in the 5th month, because 110 does not hurt either, which surprises you. By month 6, there is 1,180. Rosa gets a new car in the spring. She talks about the payments the way you talk about weather, like it is a joke everyone is in on, and there is a moment in the car park where the old machine starts up in you, the comparison one, the one that used to send you to your banking app in the middle of a conversation just to look at a number and feel a specific way about yourself. You feel it start. You do not open the app. That is the whole event. There is nothing to see. Rosa is still talking about the sunroof. You see her at a vending machine in a hospital corridor, waiting for somebody, the way everybody in that corridor is waiting for somebody. She is young, younger than the version of you that flattened receipts in a first apartment. She has her phone in one hand, and she is looking at the little price under the crisps, and then at her screen, and then back at the price, and then she puts the phone in her pocket and drinks from the water fountain instead. She does it fast. She does it the way you do it. It is over before there is anything to feel about it, and she is already walking back down the corridor. You watch her go. You do not say anything. There is nothing to say that would not be worse than saying nothing. The car dies in month 9, in the way cars do, which is to say, expensively, and on a Tuesday. $840. You are in the garage waiting room, which smells like hot rubber and burnt coffee, and the man behind the counter tells you the number in the apologetic voice they use, the one that is braced for what usually happens next. You pay it. There is $1,060 left afterward, and you know that. And that is all that happens. The month does not break. Nothing is moved to a card. Nothing gets called about. You drive home and you make dinner, and the receipt sits face up on the passenger seat for 3 days before you take it inside. That sounds like a nightmare, Keisha says on the phone. It's fine. It went on the card. It did not go on the card. You do not correct it. You are not entirely sure why. Donna asks for things sideways. She never asks. She describes a situation, in detail, with a particular silence at the end of it. And the silence is the ask. And you have been filling that silence since you were small enough to need a booster seat at that yellow kitchen table. The lamp in the corner of your living room has a bulb that has been dying for a month, going dim and then coming back, and it is doing it now while she talks. The phone crackles on her S sounds. She is talking about the boiler and the man who came to look at the boiler and what the man who came to look at the boiler said. The number, when it finally arrives at the end of a sentence that was not about a number, is 800. Here's what would have happened before. You would have said yes immediately and then spent the following 7 hours doing arithmetic and then not slept and then moved things around and then been slightly strange with everyone for a fortnight. And Donna would never have known any of it because the not knowing was the gift and the arithmetic was the price of the gift. I can do 300, you say, and then you stop talking. That is the hard part. Not the number, the stopping. 10 years of filling silences, and the muscle is right there, offering you 6 different sentences that would make this easier for her. And every one of them ends with you finding the other 500 somewhere. The lamp goes dim, comes back. Oh, Donna says. Well, that helps. Good. You do not check the account before you say it or after you say it. You already know what is in there. That is the strange part, the part you turn over later. Not that you had the money, but that you knew, without looking, the way you know how much petrol is in the car. The envelope with your own handwriting on the back of it is under your mug on the table, a ring of tea soaked into the ink, holding the number that terrified you once, being furniture. The supermarket at 20 to 10 at night is still a different building than it is at noon. Same flat green light, same one note humming under everything. The trolley with the bad wheel is at the end cap, still dragging half a turn to the left when the doors open, and you would not be able to say whether it is the same trolley or a different one, and it does not matter. 11 months. The cardigan is the same cardigan. The left cuff has gone properly now, pilled through to the weave, and you keep pulling it over your hand because that is what the hand does. The good olive oil is on the second shelf where it always is. Dark glass, paper label, a little heavier than the one you usually buy. You put it in the cart. You are in the car park with the boot open before it catches up with you. The bottle is lying on its side in the bag with the bread, and you are looking at it, and something is wrong. Something is missing, and it takes you a second to work out that what is missing is a step. You did not look at the tag. You did not look past the bottle at the small white card on the shelf edge. You did not do the thing under the ribs. Your eyes went to the bottle and stopped at the bottle, and then your hand went where your eyes were, and the whole machine that has been running for 10 years underneath every conversation, every menu, every aisle at 20 to 10 at night, it did not start. You stand there in the car park with your hand on the boot and you laugh, once, out loud, at nobody. Once, out loud, at nobody. It is not a triumphant sound. It is closer to the sound you make when someone tells you something obvious that you had somehow never been told. Then you close the boot and you drive home, because the ice cream is in the bag too. The booth by the window still wobbles. Keisha is halfway through a story about her sister, the tiles again. The tiles are apparently ongoing, and there is a strip of silver tape on the third booth back holding a split in the red vinyl closed. The menus arrive. You open yours. You start at the top, at the left, at the first thing, and you read it like a person reads something they have not read before, and you take long enough that Keisha looks up. You know what you're getting. Give me a second. The condensation on the front window is reforming where somebody wiped it. The pendant lamp over the table throws a warm ring onto the laminate. Somewhere behind you, the television is playing a channel nobody has identified in 10 years. You have no idea what your half is.